This last question is from a listener named Megan, and she asked, "What advice do you have for someone who is starting their healing journey, but they feel like hope for them personally is foreign or inauthentic?"
That's a great question, and thank you, Megan, for writing that in. So the other night we went to the amphitheater, and they were showing movies. They were showing Finding Nemo and Luca. Huge Luca fan. I mean, to the point that I quoted Silencio Bruno in the book because I just love Luca. It makes me tear up every time, especially at the end. I won't spoil any part of it, but great movie. But I'm gonna reference Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo is a great movie. I could probably quote the entire thing. So,
Do you have your accent, buddy? So we're watching Finding Nemo, and at the end, after the credits, they show the rest of the fish escaping out of the cage, and they get into these bags, and they find a way to kind of roll across the road, and they plop into the ocean. They plop into the ocean, and the lead fish, Gil, just has this smile on his face, this satisfaction that we made it. We got out of this tank that we were stuck in. We got over this obstacle. We've been trying to do this for years. It seemed like we were almost in this hopeless place, and now we've made it. But the funny part is that now they're in the ocean, but they're stuck in plastic bags. So I think the one important point is that, and I love that Megan phrased it as a healing journey, because it really is a journey. You don't just get to one point and then it's done. Like, to be grateful, to keep perspective, to practice forgiveness, it's a weekly, if not daily practice. There's so many different things pulling at us to make us get off of that path that it does make it challenging. You have to make it a priority that I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to practice being grateful.
mm-hmm.
I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to practice seeing the other sides of people's stories. I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to actively listen to the people that I'm working with versus trying to push a certain agenda. So we learned a lot from those fish escaping the tank. But referencing back to before they escaped, how many times did they try
mm-hmm.
to get out of that tank? And how many times did they have failed attempts? And in the video, I'm air quoting failed because really there's no failures. You just learn a lesson and then you're able to improvise and get better each time. But they had a lot of times to improvise and figure out new strategies. And when they were almost there, they changed the fish tank. So then that one strategy, then it had to alternate to this other strategy. But they held on to hope. And I think what held them on to hope was the vision that they had.
Yeah.
So I think if we're feeling inauthentic about hope, it's likely that you're in that fish tank. You've tried shooting yourself out of the volcano to get out of the tank, and it didn't work. You tried slingshotting out of there, and it didn't work. You tried all these other methods, and it seemed not to work. So you feel defeated. So we see Nemo, we see Gil in their separate parts of the fish tank, really kind of depressed. Of, I'm stuck here. I can't go anywhere. And that may be what you're feeling like. But they got up, they put another plan into action, and it came to fruition. So I get it. I get feeling stuck in that tank. I get feeling like I can't feel hope. It's inauthentic because I've tried it before. And each time I've tried it, it ends up just being this perceived failure. But the advice I have is to keep going. You have to keep taking action, even when it feels like it's not going to turn into anything. And within that, reflect on what is your vision, because those fish wouldn't have kept trying to get out of that tank if they didn't have a vision of what their life would look like once they were out of the tank. Granted, they're now in the plastic bags and they have to figure out how to get out of the bags, but eventually they'll get out of those bags. But they kept moving forward because they knew their vision. So what is your vision? And not what other people have given to you. We spend so much time trying to impress people that really, like, one, physically they may not even be here anymore, and two, it may not even be our plan or what was planned for us to do. So what is your vision, your authentic vision? What were you put here to do? Figure that out first, and then from there, start trying some things. They may work, they may not work, but give it a shot and know that eventually it's not if it's going to work, it's when. When is it going to work?
And hold out for hope
Mm-hmm.
too. And I remember there was a time where I could not think of a vision. I knew I wanted my life to look different, but I was so stuck in my depression that vision was I literally just could not even imagine what the next day could be like. But in that time, and I agree with Dillon, you shouldn't be listening to other people's visions for your life and plans for your life. You should really pursue the life that you're meant to pursue. However, during that time, I needed to trust the people around me to help me. And I had a friend who challenged me to write 5 things I was grateful for every single day. And I was so mad about that challenge, but I'm a committed, loyal person. And so I did it anyways, even though I was depressed and didn't want to. I remember laying in bed at night being like, ah, oh, dang it, I have to write those 5 things. And it would make me so upset. And that probably went on for like a month of being frustrated about this, but I still committed to the 5 things that I was grateful for every day. And I have this little tiny notebook, and it's probably filled with maybe 4, 5, 6 months of 5 things every single day that I was grateful for. And I look back at that season of my life of being in just such darkness. And then I look to a couple months ago, someone saying that I was the queen of gratitude. And how did I get from that depression to being the queen of gratitude, whatever that even means? But it was having people help me
Mm-hmm.
around me, but then also, like Dillon said, holding out for the hope of the vision set before me. I would have never planned that this would be my life because I didn't have big enough vision for what my life could be. But I was able to do the little thing because of the people helping me around me, and that led me to becoming a very, very grateful person. Um, and so, if hope feels foreign or inauthentic, or if you can't even fake it till you make it because that is just not your thing, then, like Dillon said, try to find vision. Try to put yourself in a situation where you can just dream for a second, and that feels weird and it feels inauthentic. And like Dillon said, some of those feelings and emotions, they do pass away. And so maybe trust our wisdom. You may not know us, but trust this wisdom of us kind of being on the other side of the healing journey. I mean, the journey still continued for the both of us, but on the other side, I guess, of the start of the healing journey.
Yeah, build momentum. And I'll quote Richard Montanez, who is the creator of Flaming Hot Cheetos, although there's controversy around that. But anyway, his book is a great read, Flaming Hot, very appropriately named. But he talks about his story and his vision and his family's vision, the adversity that he faced, and once he got to the point that he thought where his life was going to take off, how there was another mountain to climb and another mountain to climb, but he kept going. And in the book, he quotes, "Faith it till you make it."
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to ask, well, what is faith? Well, faith is taking that first step when you don't really know where the staircase is going to go. You just have to start taking that step, and then that next step and that next step. Retrospectively, it'll all make sense. All the adversity that you faced, all the obstacles that were very intentionally placed there because you were meant to face them, they'll all start to make sense. And that's where hope will come to fruition.
Yes, yes. So Megan, have hope, have faith, and start this journey. And yesterday when we were watching Luca, Alberto was explaining to Luca how to walk. And he basically said, stick your foot out in front of you, and before you fall, catch yourself. And I think that that's the start of the healing journey, is just catch yourself as you fall, and slowly you'll be running.